I've been thinking a lot lately about how we sometimes find ourselves reevaluating life and maybe how we see things and how it it can feel a little bit weird. It's like you suddenly wake up and you realize, or maybe not suddenly, but gradually, you sort of notice that things that you used to like, sometimes you don't anymore. And it's not because they're bad things, or people. It's just that you've kind of outgrown some of that. Um, like say spending your weekends, partying, getting drunk, or, things like that, were things that you might have found fun in your 20s, maybe even into your 30s, but into your 40s, you're just like, nah, I'm good. And part of you is like, man, when you see friends or something that are still into that sort of stuff and you're just like, oh, man, you should grow up, you're 40. And then you realize that you're kind of being a bit judgy and that's not exactly helpful to you or them. So you sort of stop doing that, even if you never voice those things out loud. But you sort of realize sometimes that you do outgrow things. Like, have you ever found yourself realizing things like this? I used to really love working in ED. I love the challenge of working with lots of different people. The all the different things that a person might come in with. It'd be different presentations all the time, different things that a person is. I keep saying a person when I really mean lots of people. People come in with a variety of reasons. You're not seeing just chest pain all the time, though some shifts can feel like it. You're not just seeing abdominal pain, or you're not just seeing respiratory issues because we're in cold and flu season. And you're not just seeing pediatrics because we're in cold and flu season, or there's been a gastro outbreak, or, something like that. You're seeing so many different people coming in for all kinds of different things. The variety is awesome. But I found myself last year, we'd gone on holidays, had a great time. And when we were coming back, I was in two minds about work. Like, by that point, I'd already moved into doing 1 week working in emergency and 1 week working in the clinic. And I was finding myself looking forward to going back to working in the clinic. Sometimes when you've had a good break that you feel ready to go back to work again. But I was dreading going back to ED, and I wrestled with it for a while, but eventually sort of said to the boss at emergency there, look, I think my time is done. And, put in my notice and then left ED. And I really struggled with some of the feelings that came from that for a while, because, there was definitely some feelings of guilt because, they're short-staffed. Are always short-staffed, it feels, but no, they're just a very busy department. So, there was a bit of sadness around leaving some of the folks that I've really enjoyed working with. And the main thing that I think took a little bit of a while to understand was the ego side of things that I had attached to it, because there was some meaning that came from me, or at least I derived anyway, saying, oh yeah, when someone asks me, what do you do with yourself? Oh, I'm a nurse. And then they say, oh, what area do you work in? And you say emergency, and people seem to be a little bit impressed. And it's like, what does that even mean for me? It felt like by the time I finally became comfortable with the fact that I don't work in emergency anymore, it's because I realized that I'd outgrown that need to prove to myself or prove my worth as a nurse, because I'm like, well, I still do some of the same stuff. I just work in a different area, and that doesn't make me any less useful or any less of a nurse or anything. So really, like, it's now like a non-issue. So yeah, these are just some of the things I've sort of noticed lately, and so I'm wondering, what sort of things have you noticed that you perhaps have actually outgrown, or maybe some beliefs, maybe about yourself or the world around you, or anything that you've perhaps noticed that have changed, and how that's been going for you. This week, yeah, if you haven't noticed anything like that, then I invite you to maybe just look out for and see whether there is anything. And if there isn't, that's cool. You might just not be in that phase of life right now, and that's all right. That's what makes living and interacting with other people interesting and exciting, because we're all on different paths. We're all on different journeys. We all want different things out of life, and our experience of living on this earth is all different, and that's what's cool. So yeah, I'd love to know, what have you noticed? Sorry, editing Steph here. The end of that video, for some reason, the audio just kind of cut out. But what I was wanting to say was, if you've been finding yourself having moments where you are reevaluating life, then I would love to hear about it in the comments. And if you're not in that kind of a stage, that's cool. That's cool. I'd love to hear from you in the comments anyway, especially if anything's been resonating with anything that I've been saying so far. All right, I'll leave you to your week then. Take care.